This is how we ride. This is how we do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, apparently my video of comparing high-limit drivers to World of Outlaw drivers pissed a few people off in one comparison. Everybody was fine with Donnie Schatz for Buddy Kofoid. Everybody was fine with Brad Sweet for Brent Marks. Everybody was okay with Sheldon Hodenshaw for Rico Abreu. I mean, these picks, they weren't a big deal. Everybody was I even saw a great compliment for the JJR41 for the IRP 71. They were all, y'all were okay. Giovanni Scelzi for Justin Sanders. Y'all saw that as fair trades. But the one trade you did not see or did not like was David Gravel for Kyle Larson. Of course, this is a video yesterday where I go through the entire roster. It's about a 30-minute video. We go through the entire roster between the World of Outlaws and the High Limit Sprint Car Series roster, and we compare the drivers. And you see the list there. It's growing. And we're not to David Gravel in particular at this point, but we did get to David Gravel, and we said that Kyle Larson is equivalent to David Gravel. This guy, however, did not agree. And there's a big problem in sprint car racing, and it's going to be discussed here today. Gravel equal to Larson? Sorry, sir. Gravel is not a pimple on Kyle Larson's ass. If you think I'm crazy, provide data to me where Gravel has won a Wing 410 race outside of a top 4 starting spot. Good stuff, Chaz. Of course, I come in here and really ramp up the Larsonite known as Adam 45899, and I say Larson is overrated, always has been. And he says, I love you too. So we both get the sarcasm here. I made a joke in the video as well, where I was like, the only difference between David Gravel and Kyle Larson is when David Gravel was a little bitty kid, not some rich old NASCAR guy, didn't want to pull him in the back room and ask him how much he wants it. Obviously, that's a joke. We're making a bunch of jokes here, but there is some seriousness to what's occurring in this scenario. If you are projecting the one driver in NASCAR from sprint car racing as the best sprint car driver there is, then that fits the AAA to NASCAR narrative. It turns the sport into a college. Honestly, that's what NASCAR has turned the fan base into. The only damn reason sprint car people watch NASCAR is because the star QB from Sprint Car University was drafted into the NFL. I said, we got to work on making sprint car stars again instead of putting so much glamour into the guy who goes to NASCAR. We all know that stuff is based on opportunity or money. If Larson didn't get lucky here or there, he would be Justin Grant, who beat him when they were kids, or vice versa. We have to reinstate the sprint car star, or we will keep cheering on Cole. Changed everything. Took the sprint car icon from McKenzie to a Cole. Thus the respect, the idolization, the fans, the sponsors, the recognition of being a sprint car driver. And also turn this sport into Triple A. We go on to reference how, Steve Kinser won $50,000 in 1984 when Earnhardt won $47,000 at Talladega. You got to understand how they've been playing this. And it started with Gordon, Stewart, Kane, and now Larson, Bell, however you want to see it. They've turned it into a university, not a top form of a big league motorsport. And when I continuously say the Cole situation, look at line 3 here. A sprint car fan at heart and only watches NASCAR because they like the movie Days of Thunder. So they cheer for real-life characters that remind them of Cole Trickle, which is the destruction of the sprint car star, which, for you Jonathan Davenport fans, the last nail in the coffin there was to embarrass Steve Kinser in Cup Series racing, because Steve Kinser went into the Cup racing scene and Jeff Gordon waxed his ass there. So if Jeff Gordon can beat him in the big leagues, then Jeff Gordon could have dominated the little leagues that he ended up going back to. Let me just pull something up for you people. I know that you're like, oh my God, no one thinks that sprint cars are AAA. How could you say that, Chaz? No one thinks that. Let me show you something. This is the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series Facebook page. Pretty much any viable, normal person has a Facebook, especially in the right-wing community. Look at how many people like the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series on Facebook or follow it. 369,000 people. So let's just hopefully say that 369,000 people believe that a Sheldon Hodenshaw is equivalent to a Kevin Harvick or a Kyle Busch or any of these stock car stars, because these are the sprint car stars equivalent. Let's just say that. Whereas they are being projected as this is AAA because this is where Larson came from. This is the university. These people are down here playing in the university. They have not graduated to the big leagues, and the fan base supports that graduation to the big leagues because the fan base is supporting Kyle Larson as the greatest of sprint car racing of this university, and that's why he is in NASCAR, because that's where the greatest go. Let's just say 360,000 people know that Sheldon Haudenschild is equivalent to Kyle Busch on a Sunday. Sheldon Haudenschild is a Kyle Busch on a Saturday night in the sprint car world. Looking at the numbers here, there's 369,000 people that know what the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series is, enough to click like or watch a Facebook video. Here's the population of the country, ladies and gentlemen. 331 million people. That's it. So, when you equate what I'm talking about, where people viewing sprint car races as AAA and all this and that and the other, and let's just say the sprint car fan base knows that, you're at a big disadvantage here on telling the world that Sheldon Haudenschild is a Kyle Busch on a Saturday night with the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series. You're at a big disadvantage because these 331 million people are being told what is what based on that damn television screen that NASCAR is on. This dirt thing's a minor league and NASCAR is the pros. So you are a part of the minority, very small community that believes that Sheldon Haudenschild is equatable to a Kyle Busch on a Sunday afternoon. The world thinks through this that since Kyle Busch and some of these other guys can beat Kyle Larson in the big leagues, that they can go down to the small leagues and beat everyone in this minor league. That's what happens, right? If a guy makes it to the majors and he kicks somebody's ass from the minors, that means that guy in the majors could go and whoop everyone's ass in the minors too. We saw this a few years ago when people were saying that if Chase Elliott ran the Knoxville Nationals, he would lap the field. That is what 331 million people believe. I guess you can remove the 0.45 because that's about the sprint car fan base. So the 0.45 of you out there who know, you are in the minority of thinking. You are stupid. You are wrong. There are more transgender people in America than sprint car fans. By the way, there's only about 1.6 million transgender people in America. So, you really need to wake up on how you perceive these guys. And how you talk about a Kyle Larson who is in that NASCAR narrative that NASCAR is using to say we are another level above this form of motorsport. You really need to understand that is the game at play. And late model people, they're about to pull this game on y'all hard. Y'all are lucky. Y'all ain't over there saying Tyler Reddick's better than every late model driver there is. We're over here saying that Kyle Larson's better than everybody. Y'all got injected with it as well over there with Kyle Larson. And I'll tell you, I was pretty good at predicting the future with David Gravel and Jeff Gordon in 2019. I said once the Illuminati and Jeff Gordon got involved with the Exalta paint scheme that David Gravel was going to sweep the week and just dominate the Knoxville Nationals, win everything he saw. And that's what he did. And this is after Kyle Larson won in the Rumley 6 at Port Royal, his first outing ever in a late model, publicly. And that guy off to the right there is me. And I'll just ask you one more time. Can you really not see it coming? Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. After saying the last few sentences, I just want everyone to know, if I come up missing, I'm very happy in life. I've been through some turmoil in my life, but there ain't nothing I ain't already dealt with. I feel healthy. I don't feel like I got a cough or anything. So, if anything happens, it's not what they said happened. Okay? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the scenario. That's the situation. That's what I think a lot of more dirt people need to recognize and wake up to. We got to start saying David Gravel is just like a Kyle Larson. We got to start telling the world our guys are just like those guys. Because let's face it, Kyle Larson doesn't get an opportunity here, an opportunity there. He's still racing sprint cars in West Coast, maybe Indiana. He's Justin Grant. The difference between Justin Grant and Kyle Larson's opportunity. That's it. And that could be said for a lot of people. Kyle Larson is one of the greatest drivers we have ever seen. Because we don't get to see everybody get to do what he does. And not everybody gets to jump in Silver Crown this, Sprint Car that, late model this, Silvas and Rumleys and Hendricks and Daytona 24's best team on the block. No one else is getting to do this. Who are you comparing them to? So we have to recognize that this sport is opportunity-based, and we can't be disrespecting other drivers and saying they can't do what someone else does when they haven't even got the opportunity to attempt it. How the hell can you tell me that this guy can't throw the football better than that guy if that guy ain't even picked the football up and thrown it yet? Stop comparing somebody to an imagination in your head and start respecting the evidence that we do have. Kyle Larson, one of the best race car drivers in the country, but there's some other on this dirt track that are just as good, if not better than him. Late model side definitely can make that case. They've handled him pretty damn well. Sprint car side, you're in trouble. He whooped your ass pretty hardcore in 2020. Jonathan Davenport was leading the ship on that one, though. And now they're taking him to Bristol to do the same thing they did to Steve Kinser. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, share the video, comment below. Have you recognized how minuscule this community of dirt racing is, and the TV that's reaching that 331 million people is telling them what I'm talking about and making these structures of major NASCAR, minor league sprint car racing. Oh, one guy goes from the minors to the majors. It's Kyle Larson. Oh, even all the major people are saying, yes, he's so much better than us. Yes, sir, so much better than everybody. That's why he's up here. So you're reinstating the ideology and the narrative. Please wake up to it. And anybody strapping into a sprint car or late model and you think Kyle Larson is better than you, get out of the race car now. I've had conversations with Kyle about this. He agrees. So get out the race car and put a driver in the seat. Because if you don't believe you're better than Kyle Larson, you sure as hell ain't going to whoop his ass. You should not be in the ring with somebody who you think's going to knock you out and you ain't got no way to beat him. Because you're already defeated. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe. Catch you next time.
This is how we ride. This is how we do.